Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is John and Jenna with Flippin' Ain't Easy, and hopefully your sales were as well, even half as good as of mine. That the sales that I had this last weekend, I think you'd be pretty happy. Sales were outstanding this last weekend. Could not even be happier with some of the sales. Not only the sales, but some of the things we bought over the weekend. So I want to talk to you about that here. And a lot of people watching Josh Galt's live stream today, a lot of people were reporting good sales. So that to me. Jenna's interrupting the live stream.
Sorry.
So she likes watching the live stream so she can cheat. So I'm falling behind on the remarks. So that's generally why she does it. So on Josh Galt's live stream, sorry, Josh.
Wow.
He was talking about some of the things that he's been dealing with. Not so great a sales for him this weekend, but certainly a lot of people were reporting that they had some really good results. And it's funny. The plan this weekend wasn't to go sourcing anywhere, but I kind of pulled up the yard sale app, and it said, "Wow, you have 37 yard sales to go to this weekend in your general area," where it was like 6 like 2 weeks ago. And so I was pretty interested in looking into it. And so we found that there was a community yard sale that was sort of in the neck of the woods where we used to live. And so I'm like, okay, Jenna, I said, if you want to go, we'll go to the yard sale in the morning. And she was like, what? No. And I'm like, well, you let me know.
I'm not a morning person. I don't like to get up early at all.
I said, you let me know. I said, we'll wake up, and if you decide that we'll go, then we'll go. So alarm goes off. I'm tired as all can be. And I'm asking her, I said, what do you want to do? And in the back of my mind, I'm hoping she's saying, let's not go, right? But she gets up and she says, let's go, honey. Let's just go. What was that about?
Because I knew in a way he wanted to go. So if I say no, then he'll be like, oh yeah, no, we'll do it another weekend. So I knew in the back of my mind that if I just said yes and got up, and then we'd go.
So the thought was to go to that Lady Ruby's house. Okay, well, not her house, but the yard sale she told me about. So we got in the car, went to the ATM machine, grabbed a little breakfast. It was about 6:30. I know that most yard sales out here don't start till 7 anyway. And we rolled about 6:45. We rolled over to that area, and there's a lot of churches there. So I thought it was like a church function. Couldn't find a thing. There was a random yard sale about a block away, which looked bad. And so I said, let's shoot over to this community yard sale. And so we said, okay, let's do it. So we shot over to the community yard sale. Now, one of the best things that you can encounter when you're dealing with a community yard sale is one that is a gated community and one where the gate is closed. If you can find a way to get in, then you're going to be good. And so that's what happened here. There was a random guy by the gate, and he opened it for us as we pulled in. So we went right in. We found there's probably 2 or 3 people that had a yard sale, but there's this couple there that I guess she was selling on eBay, and she had a lot of her stock that she, I guess, hadn't listed yet. And they're putting it up for sale. And I said, well, it's probably going to be a slow day today. I said, they have the gate closed. When they did that to us, we hardly got anyone. And so they started pulling stuff out. They were still in the transition of getting stuff out in the driveway. So we're looking through. Jenna saw a bunch of good shoes that she grabbed. And I said, well, let's just make a bundle here because they had some pretty good prices. This guy pulls out a Krups, a KRUPPS. I think it's PPS or PS.
Cappuccino maker.
Yeah, it's an EA 9000. And he's like, yeah, a few years back, I bought this thing for $3,000 and I used it twice. Now, when anyone tells you they used it twice, you got to times that by 10. It's probably how many times they used it. But nonetheless, looked up the comps. They were pretty promising. Wanted $250, and I kept going back to it. I said, think about it. So we're bundling all these things that we decided to buy. I said, okay, add that in. And so she's adding everything up. And I said, look, $400 for everything. And so she said, okay, we'll do that. So we ended up filling the back of the SUV. I listed this thing for $899, took a best offer for $700, and I figured the cost of goods on that was $200. That was yesterday. Of course, they paid, and all is good. I sold another item as well from that sale yesterday. So, hey, if it wasn't for Jenna saying, let's get up and go, and she grabbed like all the shoes. So it's like, okay.
Well, a lot of them were new, and some of them had boxes still, and they were new. Only there was like one pair that had been tried on in the store, but never worn out. Like the
Carhartts. Those
no,
Carhartts?
those were the Etnies.
Okay.
But there's Carhartts that have never been worn at all. They were still in the box, still had all the packaging inside the shoes. They just, a bunch of shoes that were in very good condition, and I have been working on that.
About 10 pair, right?
I think about 10. We had some snow boots that had never been worn, but they didn't have a box, but I didn't care because they're Columbias, and with snow season coming up, I figure they'll probably go quick.
Some Hokas.
Yeah, Tommy.
I know.
He's not here yet that I see, but
he drops in later.
We got some Hokas.
So it was just one of those things where the stars aligned, and I'm sure I would have made a decent sales weekend if it wasn't for that. But that really helped shape the sales that we had for this weekend. So about a $2,000 sales weekend. That's including Friday, Saturday, Sunday is how I calculate it, because that's the stuff I have to ship out, and that's what we have to ship out today. So USPS has already been here, and we're just waiting for the FedEx person who should be here pretty soon.
Tommy says, present.
So wanted to make a programming note, though, because I do have a surprise guest, but...
surprise guest now?
No.
Oh, I was like,
not now.
Even I'm surprised.
Yeah. She's a surprise guest. No, we have a surprise guest that's going to be on the show here very soon. Now, we normally have these shows on Mondays and Fridays, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. But because we have to be in Los Angeles this weekend, because we're going to visit my daughter.
We get to go hang with the granddaughters.
Yeah, we're going to go make ice cream for the grandkids. We got a little ice cream maker. So we're going to do that. And because we normally head out on Fridays when we go out to, California, we're going to do the live stream on Thursday this week. And we're going to do a live stream. We're going to have a special guest on the show. Josh Galt will be with us.
Oh, you didn't ever tell me that.
That's a surprise.
Well, I found out from Josh's live this morning.
Well, then you don't act surprised.
I am still surprised.
Okay.
I get to hear Mr. Bean live and in person.
So now, as far as the following weekend, of course, the following week, we have Mondays live, and then we'll be in Cincinnati that following Friday as well. So that live will be on Thursday as well. So the next 2 weeks, no Friday live. It'll be on Thursday at the same time. So hopefully you guys got that. All right. So today I want to talk about, I told you about my sales. Sales are going great. A lot of people reporting very, very good sales. And my thing is this sort of a sign that we're finally getting out of the summer months? We're breaking away from that. Maybe eBay took my advice. I'd like to think maybe they listened to my shows, and they did their work to the site over the summer when sales are slow. Now, let me just temper everything I just said. Next weekend, we might just all be wondering what the heck happened to sales. So one weekend doesn't change anything. It's just a good sign at this point. Let's give it a couple weeks. Let's see how our sales go before we start saying that we're past it all. But I'm always forever hopeful that things are always going to be better. And this is a good sign for many. And if you're not, getting sales, let's say in another week or two, we're continuing to report that things look really good and you're not on that train, then it's time to really take a close look at some of the things that you're doing, whether it's what you're selling, how you're selling it, whether you're promoting or not, all the things we talk about on this program. It's a good time to maybe take a really, really good look at your business and see what you need to change. Wanted to talk about one thing that I wanted to show you, that it was brought to my attention on a series of emails that I've been receiving. A few of us have been receiving some emails, and not from eBay or anything like that, but just collectively as a group trying to figure out a lot of stuff that's going on and talking about just things that happen behind the scenes. Now, I didn't see this, and it's probably because we went out on Labor Day to New Mexico. We didn't have that live stream, and I really just didn't get a chance to look at it. But on e-commerce bites, Ina Steiner put out, and she does a great job, by the way. I get a lot of information because she takes the time to put a lot of this information together. So if you like to read about eBay and stuff, check out e-commerce bites. She puts a lot of good stuff together. On her page, and I want to show this to you here, but it talks about the eBay buyer experience team sharing a detail on a new response time feature. Now, this was, if you guys recollect, over the last year and a half, I've been talking about the Informed Consumers Act, and that's actually in play right now. It's such a nothing burger that people haven't really even noticed that it's happening. And it's your address. If you're a large seller of $20,000 or more in a year, then eBay is displaying your address information to the buyer in emails once they've bought your item. Okay, so I think they're doing that anyway with the invoices, but that's part of that. That's what they're mandated to do. Now, you can put in for an exception. There should be a way you can type in Informed Consumers Act and maybe on a Google search, and it'll take you to the screen where you can request an exception and have that. As long as you run your business out of your house and not a commercial building, then you can have that address removed from the initial correspondence. Okay, but I kind of digress in that this whole thing that I want to talk about, this response time feature, was going to be built into that, to where if you do not respond in a timely manner to buyer emails, then you're not going to be given this exception, right? I don't see any reference to this now in their verbiage on the Informed Consumers Act. So it tells me that it's probably not being implemented, but eBay is going to start, and it didn't say when, according to this article. I want to kind of read it.
There was a little blurb on my eBay listings. I don't know if anybody else saw that, but it had a little blurb at the top when I was in my listings that said something about the informed consent.
Well, here it is right here. eBay buyer experience team shares details on new response time feature. Whoops, let me get to where we can read it here. eBay is displaying how long it takes a seller to respond to customer inquiries on their listing pages. And as we reported last week, it took a reader by surprise and appeared to be a test eBay was running. This week, a product manager from eBay's buyer experience team responded to questions in a thread on the eBay discussion boards, explaining it was testing the unannounced feature because we heard from buyers that they value knowing if they can expect timely responses from a seller, and that it would encourage them to engage more on eBay. eBay is testing a new feature with a subset of buyers to help us understand if it helps with increasing sales for our sellers and trust on the platform. Now, it says the unnamed product manager said that eBay calculates the original signal based on data over the last 12 months. So it's over the last year, and provided the following details. Now, this signal thing, it's down below. But it's one of these details. Seller has received at least one question and answered at least 60% or more questions over the last 12 months. Only the first question and response in each conversation is included, so not responding to a follow-up question or a thank you very much response from a buyer would not be factored in this calculation. I was led to believe, this is before I read this, that it was going to be something where you got to say you're welcome or whatever. That's not required anymore. They're just measuring the first response. It says the result is rounded up to the nearest bucket from the list of 7 signals mentioned above. Now that's actually below, and I'll show you here in a second. Actually, I think that's the tags. Okay. The signal is not shown if the calculation shows if a seller responds in more than 48 hours. So you don't get anything for that. I think it's a bad mark. The signal is also not displayed when a seller has received no questions over the last 12 months or when the seller's response rate is lower than 60%. It says the eBay product manager denied eBay had any plans to add a response time as a criterion to qualify as top rated seller. So it has nothing to do with top rated seller. Interestingly enough, rival marketplace Etsy requires sellers to respond to messages in a 24-hour period to become a star seller. I know that you get a badge on Mercari for having quick response time. And it says, according to the post, buyers in the test could see one of 7 signals, I guess badges, signals, displayed in sellers' listings depending on eBay's calculations. So responds within 1 hour. That's one option that you'll get, if you're quick to respond. Respond within 3 hours. Respond within 6 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours. And if you just don't respond at all, then you're going to get nothing, no badge. I don't know why they call it a signal, but that's what they call it. I think it's more of a badge.
I think Yelp calls it that too, or as far as lets you know that if you were to reach out to the business that you're inquiring about, that it'll say responds, within a certain amount of time.
It says the eBay products manager said that occasional fluctuations in response time would not considerably impact the seller's overall performance evaluation. So it's not going to knock you down to above standard if you're top rated and you just don't respond to your buyers. But now the article doesn't say anything here. And let me get off of this real quick. Okay, let me get to this real fast here. I know. The article doesn't say this, but I am a firm believer that eBay is not going to do this just for the fun of having a nice little badge pop up in your store or in your listings. Okay, it is, if it is developed, if it is implemented, because I haven't seen anything yet. It's going to definitely be in the equation. It's going to be part of your account health, and it's going to be yet another thing that is looked at before, when their eBay's evaluating where your items should be in search, that type of thing. So part of account health as far as I'm concerned, but anytime you get that initial message from someone that's sending you a message, get back to them right away. I think it's very, very, very important, not only to the algorithm, but also to your buyer, because that buyer is going to set an initial impression on how you initially respond. It's that first impression we all have when we meet somebody for the first time. So it is no different for your buyers. So keep that in mind. But I just wanted to share that thing with you and to make you aware that that could be coming down the pipe here very, very soon. And I would have told you about it sooner had I not have gone on vacation a couple weeks back. So, all right, who do we have with us today? We have EPA Worldwide. Says, hello, we expect surge in sales as well as good luck with stream and sales.
So the thumbs up.
Yes. We've got Ed here with us. And then Biscuit Butt says, howdy, F80 fam. Here to see if Maggie Beth. Mogi Beth. I don't know who this person is.
She's a person on
wouldn't it be Maggie, not Mogi?
No.
Okay, whatever. Our buddy Mike Camporelli says, hi, John and Jenna, and fellow resellers.
What is happening?
I don't know. What did you put in my drink today?
No. What did you not put in your drink today?
How are sales? Mine took an uptick this weekend, and my yard sale did okay. Over 1,100 for stuff that never would have gotten listed.
Woo! Yeah.
And that is a good example of what to do with your death pile while the weather is still good and you're able to, have a yard sale. Some people aren't able to have yard sales, but if you're able to have a yard sale, certainly look into just putting it out. It's better than just sitting there. If you keep looking at it and you're still not compelled to list it, then you're probably never going to list it. So find a way to get rid of it. Deals for Ends says, hi, everyone. Tuning in from Central Virginia, going to list and listen. Anyone else experiencing glitches? We run into 3 now and can't get a US rep for a good answer. Downloading pics is a crap shot. Well, I told you about the glitches. Oh, geez. I told you about the glitches for English lessons. We'll get to that here in a minute. I told you about the glitches over the weekend. I showed you where we were actually trying to look up some of the comps on the app on the phone. It was just, you'd put in whatever you're looking for and it would just sit there like it's looking, but it doesn't do anything. And eventually I got an error message. That and just everything else that we've been dealing with errors and search problems and you name it. It's been an issue. And I am hopeful that we're kind of hopefully we're going to get past that. And really, this isn't the whole reason why we bring this stuff up is not to complain, not to look for reasons to complain, but to understand what our obstacles are as resellers so we can navigate around them. Because you will never be successful if you're focused on all these problems that are holding you back. You got to find ways, and this is the same thing that goes in life. It's just trying to navigate around obstacles that you're constantly dealing with. And so eBay is no different. So right now we're just dealing with a lot more issues. And the best way is to keep pushing forward. And thank you though for being here and watching the channel. So we got some funny people here. We got Cha-Ching King with us, says $5 for English lessons. For the English that I need is going to take a lot more than $5. But thank you. Thank you for that. And then Roman says for Russian lessons and for Archie's accommodations at Reseller Rally. Thank you. Now we might actually give him a pillow now that you gave me the $5. But thank you. I appreciate that, Roman.
You can use my travel pillow.
I got to tell you, I'm so excited to go to the Reseller Rally. I hope that we can meet up with some of you guys that watch the show. Be really fun. I'm still hoping that we get enough people. Maybe we'll put out a little community post to see who is going to be out in Cincinnati that weekend. So maybe we can all get together for lunch after hitting the yard sales, that type of thing. But yeah, it should be very, very fun. I think they might have a ticket or two available, but
yeah, they do still have a couple of
hit up Kevin, Commonwealth Picker, hit up Pete. He might be watching. He might be just browsing. And hit him up, Craigslist Hunter, and Cincinnati Picker as well if you have access to contact them. Probably best to contact one of them on Instagram if you're looking to get a ticket or two if they still have them. Let's see. Who else do we have here? We have Glenda. Glenda Bavona says, hi, John and Jenna, plus the absolute best chat peeps in all of YouTube.
Aww,
well, thank you.
We love that.
Yeah. Not true, but we love it anyway. But thank you. You're too kind. Joy Goodnow says,
think it's true.
Well, look, there's a lot of good
We have
channels
the
out
best
there.
chat peeps.
Yes, and it's because of the chat peeps.
Yes.
So yes, I guess you're right.
Thank you.
I guess you're right.
Wow.
Joy says, good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here.
Hi.
Lenny K says hello from New Hampshire. I'm sure he's from all of New Hampshire. And good evening from Lakeland, Florida, all of Lakeland, Florida. Thanks for being here, Kevin. Callie Deb says, hello, John, Jenna, and everyone. I hope everyone has been getting some good sales lately. It sounds like, for the most part, post in the chat or down below how your sales were this last weekend. Henri Squaw says, howdy, got my like in for some sales. Hit that like button, and within 24 hours, you're going to get a sale. I don't know how or why it works, but for many, it just does. Jovial says, hey, FAE fam, happy National Purple Bra Day. Well, you forgot about one.
You want to know what today it really is?
Yeah.
Jovial, you missed out. It's National Hamburger Day.
Cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger Day.
Cheeseburger. So yeah, go grab yourself a cheeseburger. I'm sure there's deals out there. And we have a salami sandwich or shalami sandwich. Says, hey, Josh Kinnaid. I mean, John and Jenna. I'm just Keys has got to love outstanding sales. Yeah, I mean, Sunday was probably my best sales day of the year. Next to that Saturday where they just blew up my sales to be about the same amount after being shut out. Now, what's weird is my sales today are really sad. So I'm going to just put it off as we still have some time to go. But literally, I went from 1,070 in sales to $54.87. So that's something to really be proud of. But hopefully, that'll fix itself. But
Yeah.
it just shows you the unexplained inconsistency with sales on our platform here. Bearded PokeTuber, thanks for being here. Sandra's with us. Thanks for being here. We have Ping G. Thanks for being here, Ping G. Wrestling Fig says found 6 cameras over the weekend and 3 calculators.
Nice.
That's pretty awesome. I found also at that same yard sale, I found 3 Garmins. They had them. 2 of them were in the box, and they looked just like an open box item that they were sitting on. They planned on selling. They never did. So I already moved one for about $50. I got this thing called.
You also got some Guitar Hero thing.
Sold that.
That sold. We bought that on Saturday. It sold on Sunday.
So that sold, yeah. And then we got it's a 4-car set, and it's like an AI. See if I can find this. It's Anki Drive starter kit, and it has like a little mat, and it has like really 4 cars that you charge in this little holder, and then you set up your phone, and somehow they drive around this map that you lay out. I don't know.
Yeah, you do. You drive the cars from your phone. It's some kind of app that you do.
So, that was all put into this bundle where we bought for $400. As soon as we were done with that yard sale, we actually went to other sales and we did the drive-by thing. We're like, no, that looks, that doesn't look like anything I'd want to buy. And we just kind of said to ourselves after about an hour, you know what? We got this thing filled up anyway. Let's just go home. Is exactly what we did.
Yep.
So,
one and done.
Yep. Victor Wawiorka says, hello, John and Jenna gang, and gang. Jenna's hair is straight. Are you sad today?
It takes just as much work to make it straight as it does to make it curly.
Trust me on that one.
Some days I just don't want to fuss with it.
And then Brandy Vasquez says, hi, thanks for being here, Brandy. We have Thrift and Flip. Good afternoon, John and Jenna.
Hello.
Joe Samard says, good afternoon, all. And Soda City Flip says, what's up, chat? Hey, John and Jenna. Thanks for being here. Biff Boffo says, I've been reading a lot about generative AI. I believe eBay will continue to run optimization tests. Think they're motivated to fix certain categories first, others later. And I'm glad you mentioned categories, because I really think the reason why some people have seen more problems than others with a lot of the changes that eBay's been making is because a lot of the changes, I think, especially like the traffic and stuff, I really think that's based on category. And the reason why I say that is if you go in and let's say you fill out item specifics for one category over another one, you'll see that you're required to fill in different things. And it's just one of those things where I think there is a difference from one item in one category to another totally different item in a different category, and how that item is actually being handled in the system. Let's see. We got another. Sylvia says, thank you for my mentor. I really appreciate it. Awesome.
That's so sweet.
Well, thank you for being here and thank you for watching. Hopefully you change your mind and get back to listing on eBay. I know it's right now tough, but a lot of people are starting to experience an upswing in sales.
I mean, quite honestly, I think that eBay can really only go up from here. I pray. I mean, yeah, there could be very bad things that could happen. However, excuse me, try to turn that negativity around and let's all hope and pray that the best is yet to come for eBay.
Yeah, I start to ask myself, how can it get any worse? And then I start having visions of 2020 fall seller update. Anybody remember that one? So it can get worse. Let's hope it doesn't. And things are on the upswing. Chastity says, hey, FAE fam, sales have been crazy good since Saturday. Shipped 20 packages today, 1 Poshmark, the rest all eBay.
Yay.
Awesome. Devon's with us. Thanks for being here.
It's fun sourcing.
Yeah.
It is.
Guide Guru. And my second chance reselling life says, had better sales this weekend as well.
Good.
MJ says, Summerlin, it's a good place for garage sales.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I really like the Centennial Hills northwestern side of the Vegas Valley. We get a lot of good buys there. And, by the time we're done, that area, our SUV is full. It's time to say, let's go home. But definitely, I know Summerlin does have a good area down there. Callie Debs, we have had some great estate sales lately.
Mm-hmm.
Guy Guru also says, I must be on a different server because my sales have been crap. Still trudging along though.
Keep trudging.
And so could it be that whatever you're selling is sort of still not been fixed? You know, that category is still in that. I don't know. It's hard to say. Again, there's some that'll say you keep talking about how eBay's at fault when it's certainly the seller who's at fault. But I think there's a combination. I think there's a little of everything to go around, and it's easy to say it's eBay. Not saying you are at all, Guy Guru, but you won't believe the number of times that I'll get a request to look at a store, and they won't even say thank you when I'm done, because I explain these are all the things you must fix, and you never hear from them again. They just don't want to hear it. You know, I guess they're hoping I'd say, look, everything looks great here. You must be affected by all the stuff going on eBay.
Yeah, must be a glitch.
And that's just not the case. No One Design says, John, you need to turn up the AC. Jenna is about to clothesline the person to her right.
Yes, it gets rather warm in here.
Yeah, but you know, it's fine. I think it's fine. Mary Beth says, new to your channel. I was just watching Jenna on Let's Do Lunch podcast.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
How cool.
Well, thank you for finding our channel and being here. I appreciate that. MJ says, I hit the thumbs up. I better get a sale. Well, if you don't, whatever it costs you to hit that thumbs up button, I'll reimburse you 2 times over. Josh says, here while on the road. Sorry for the text during the live.
Oh, is that who?
Yeah, no, I saw it, but okay. So there's a software engineer. Just trying to figure out the emails and who's behind the emails. But a lot of good stuff that I've been looking at. Stuff that hopefully we can make heads or tails of and be able to try to just report out to the masses, maybe even as early as Thursday, you know, when we have Josh on. Jovial says, anyone else experiencing this item has ended, but we found something similar when comping sold items. Happened several weeks ago as well. It's back. One thing I've noticed is when I'm actually, okay, I'm ready to list this item. So I'll go in, and usually I'm in Amazon when I'm ready to do this. So I'll copy the title. I will then, I have it set up to where it goes in and does a search on eBay for solds. And I'll look at an item, I'll click on it just to look at this listing, and then I'll go and sell one like this. But half the time now, you can't even find that button. It's gone. It's
very hard.
So you have to go out to where your search results are, and then underneath the listing, you'll find a sell one like this button as well. Josh says, thumbs up for Jenna and John, please. Yes, please. That does help the algorithm. It helps get the word out that we have a pretty good community here, and like-minded sellers, I think, would really like this.
Read the next comment.
Oh, gee. Salami says, just noticed the pup's bed is not there. Did Chewy move out? Yeah.
No, the bed is right there.
It's behind me.
It's just behind his chair.
Yeah.
No, Chewy would never leave.
See, it's there. And the dogs are wandering. I just don't want them to get rowdy. Like, they get bored of us and they start barking at us for no reason.
They think they hear things.
Morty the One says, sales were pretty good this weekend. I sell mostly toy collectibles and video game items. Started to sell on Poshmark and list different higher ASP items in my store. It's good for now. Yeah, and ASP, again, I think there's some confusion from some of the things I've said about ASP. ASP doesn't mean gold, okay? ASP means it's just simply a higher sale price, okay? You still have to have the demand there. There's 2 things, higher demand, higher ASP. You have $10 high demand items, keep selling those all day long because they're selling. But, you know, there's high ASP that don't sell. I'm sitting on a $200 tractor part that I've bought for $1, and I mean, maybe I've had one offer to watcher in the last month and a half. I mean, some people would say put it up on auction, but there's no demand there. Would get no sales. I mean, I guess I got to wait for that farmer who has a broken tractor part, and that happens to the part they're looking for. So until that happens, that part's going to sit there. Jerry Johnson says, hi, everyone. Got a couple more sales today.
Yay!
Awesome. That's more than I have. So hope you feel good about that.
I have had one. We've had one on each store.
Tommy's present.
And one on Mercari. Holy crap.
Biscuit Butt says, Josh, more worried about you texting while driving than texting John while online.
Yeah. Please drive careful.
Yeah. Unless you have something critical. And then even then, I want you to pull over before you do that again. Biff Boffo says, in the last 10 days, I've had 5 good days in a row, followed by 3 weekdays. Then Sunday was 7x Saturday, and today looking better than Sunday. I don't expect anything to stay consistent. That's weird. I've noticed the pattern. I'll either have a really good Sunday and a crappy Monday, or a really kind of Sunday and a really good Monday. But rarely do I have back-to-back good days, Sunday to Monday. I don't know why that is. JRKR says, can't imagine paying $3,000 for a coffee machine.
Yeah, when the guy said that he paid $3,600 for a coffee machine, I said, no, he said 36.
Okay.
I said, holy.
Well, the thing was, I got it home, and of course, didn't have the original box, but it was a starter kit that had all the cleaning accessories and everything. Had the little cappuccino clear glasses to serve and everything. It was complete. And okay, let's check it out. Started doing what I like to do with those machines is I like to clean them out. So the way you do that is you do the water test, and you simply put the water in the water tank and just run. And this thing had like all the cycles for maintenance. So I ran a couple 20-minute sessions that cleaned out the system. But there's 2 trays, an outer tray and one that's an inner tray. And the inner tray was nasty. And so I'm like,
he comes in and he goes, this thing don't even work. And I'm like,
well, because it didn't, the inner tray, the contacts weren't touching.
Well, so he didn't know that there was an inner tray. And I'm like, dude, you're going to have to figure it out. I'm busy with these shoes.
So I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to sell this thing for parts or repair and not make my money back. But I figured that the contacts weren't touching. But not only that, the inner tray was just nasty. And just, I'm like, 2 times my ass that you use this 2 times. It's like anytime someone tells you at a yard sale, I only use it twice, add 10 to that.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's probably more accurate, but it was in really good, clean condition other than that. And everything worked well. So, and then because it's a $700 device, of course, I have a pretty good 18 by 18 by 18 box.
$600 device.
Well, no, it's only a $200 device because that's all that it cost me. If push came to shove, if I lost something on that, it would only be $200, not the actual sale. Right. But I bubbled the hell out of this thing. I turned this thing into a pillow, and so there's
because we didn't have the original box. Yeah,
so this thing is going to arrive, and they're going to be like layer after layer after layer. And I even sent them an apology that, hey, I just want to let you know that I mailed it out. It's insured, and you're going to spend like 20 minutes getting this bubble wrap off. But I just want to make sure.
Don't use a knife.
They can use a knife. They can use a knife. Oh, on the bubble wrap? Well,
I wouldn't.
It's that thick of bubble wrap. I mean, they can use a knife, and they'll still be going at it. Melissa Plummer says, hello, John and Jenna. Hope y'all are having a good day.
Hello.
For not having a lot of sales today, I'm good.
Still have been busy.
Yeah, very busy, dealing with a lot of things. I need to place and this is, I guess, comes off as a plug, but I'm going to place my order with American Bubble Boy. Yeah. I have to get some tape, and more bubble. I'm down to 1 roll of bubble wrap, and certainly going to do that. If you buy bubble wrap or tape, they're the way to go. Check them out.
American Bubble Boy. So funny. Okay, so you know how I have been upgraded to the 3-inch tape now. So now I'm a 3-inch tape snob, and I don't like the other tape because we bought it off of eBay or Amazon?
Amazon.
So we got off Amazon, and the quality of this tape is horrendous. It's awful. The 2-inch tape, the Amazon tape.
Yeah.
It's so thin, and it breaks really easily. And I never realized how hard I was on tape until I had to downgrade back to the 2-inch tape again. And I was like, oh my God, I was getting it stuck everywhere. It kept breaking. And I'm like, what the heck? And so I came in here and I'm like, did you order the tape yet?
Yeah. And the difference is if you're trying to secure a box, let's say you're putting together a box, right? And you use a single layer of that cheap stuff, you know you're going to have to go back over it a couple more times to get it secure. But like the good stuff, I think the 2 millimeter thickness or more on the tape, you don't have to do more
it's
than
just a
layer.
whole different ball game.
Yeah.
It works so much better. You don't have to use as much. And I love it. Pretty soon we're going to need a 4-inch.
Tommy says, Hoka is amazing. Sorry, driving to ballet. I never put you on a guy that would do ballet.
His daughter is in ballet.
I just can't imagine Tommy doing like the little pirouettes and stuff.
Can you imagine?
That's a vision. I can't shake that vision. Amazon Seller 99 says, are we raising hands now, like in grade school? Yes. Yes, we need to do that. Larzy says, thanks for all the info your videos have provided. They've helped me grow my store and sales have been wild.
That's
See, I
awesome.
love to hear that. That is, how do I pin
that?
How do I pin that comment? That is awesome.
Go into the 3 bubbles on the side.
No, there's no bubbles. I can't pin the comment. I love the comment because I love to be able to help somebody. That's the whole point in this. And this channel would have been ended a long time ago if we didn't get comments like that. So thanks for being here. Thanks for watching the videos. I appreciate it. MJ sold a 1970S San Fran Mint small date Lincoln Cent for $45.
Oh, wow.
That is a, what, 45,000x profit on that item? Because it would cost you a cent, right? Yeah. Unless you bought it for more than that. Tony Resell says, hi, everyone. Thanks for being here, Tony. Biff Boffo says, I need 2 solid weeks before I can even begin to trust eBay. Yeah. So far, I seem to be capped at 5 good days in a row. Then a drastic tank in the 6th day. I've seen it over and over. I guess that's what I'm going through. And I really don't like it when I have a really good day because they ruin my chart. My chart goes, woo! It really makes it seem like I've had like all these bad days as compared to this one good day when it's really.
Well, we just got lucky and had one great item.
I mean, I can't complain about that, but gee. Anytime Picker Roman says, Archie told me that complained about eBay so much on his channel that eBay sent him a $100,000 check just to stay quiet. Trust me, Archie did not receive $100,000. Yeah. He would have been telling me about that as soon as that money hit.
Yeah.
Tommy said, John talked about this article already. I don't recall talking about it. And the reason why I know I didn't talk about that article is because it came out the same weekend that I went to our trip on New Mexico. That was a couple weeks ago, actually now 3 weeks ago.
Maybe he's talking about Josh.
Maybe Josh talked about it.
Somebody else may have where we were
going.
But
I thought it was at least worth mentioning because it ties into a lot of what we were talking about months ago. And some people were saying, eBay isn't going to be looking at that, and my argument was Mercari's doing it already. And how do we know that eBay's not? I really think they like to be like other sites. So they see that these other sites, Etsy, Mercari, they have it. Why not just throw it on eBay? Even though we've never needed that all these years. Lenny K says, I guess I'm on a different server from all the rest. Very slow sales this weekend, but last weekend was good. So
yeah, see, we had terrible last weekend and we had good this weekend.
Only Cool Stuff says in the UK we have to have our business address displayed at all times. I am aware of that, and you know what? If you're working from home, that sucks because people know where you live, right? But if you have an actual warehouse or someplace where you go, I'm sure other people, maybe you can even set up for local pickup, right? And it's not going to be a problem. MJ says your address is also on the shipping label, right? So it's not that. That's why people haven't been up in arms about it, because at the end of the day, that address information is going to be on the return of your shipping label. Tommy says, here, I told them a while ago about people knocking on your door. Who's a here? Maybe I missed that. Okay. Mike Gertis says, my 3-day was only $659. Saturday was $454. Sunday only sold 1 platform, which is my smallest, which was odd. Did just sell $225 item, which is nice, but still a little traffic. It's just weird. Just weird. We talk about sales and how it's divvied up, and eBay kind of divvies out the sales. They don't divvy out the sales. I think they divvy out the exposure. Exposure of the item. Yeah, that's the FedEx guy. So they divvy out the exposure within search, I believe. So, there's a lot of factors involved in that processes too. Guide Guru says, oh, good. I was worried about having to play message tag. The U.S. Sports says, wouldn't it be cool if eBay did a live stream like you guys do? I think it's well overdue. They should. I think it would be a good look. All they would have to do is employ, at least one person in the social media team and, cover some of the questions. Maybe have a topic or two like we do and bring in the questions and say, okay, I may not know the answer this week, but next week, we'll have the answers. Tune in and I'll cover all these answers for you. I think that would go over well. And it would maybe curb a lot of these rumors and a lot of things that people just assume on many channels, not just mine, but many channels. Bobbles, Blings, and Needful Things says, the question answering BS is concerning me. I get jokers sending 5 or 6 broken questions in a row to do a response to each. No, it's just the first initial message to you that they respond to, that you need to respond to. Even if your buyer says, received the item, everything's great, thank you for whatever, right? You should respond to that with you're welcome or whatever, because eBay is tracking that. But this buyer or potential buyer that's playing the 20 question game with you, after the first question, you can take your time with responding because it's not being tracked. Scream NRC says, I had someone buy 8 new tag Carhartt shirts, open a return, and only send back and took the tags off, all of them saying reason for return, the 2XL shirt was too big. Well, that's a wrong size, doesn't fit. Hopefully they used wrong size for the return, so it doesn't hurt your metrics, if anything, regardless if you're paying for the label or not. Let's see. Cassandra says, the eBay response time banner will not instill more trust in me, but if I did have a question and send a message, I would have some sort of comfort knowing when to expect a reply. I think that's a good thing. If we're talking about things that eBay implements that are good versus bad, I think it is good to implement something like that to show your buyers how you as a seller perform with most other buyers that have questions. There's a lot of accounts out there. We showed you one a few months back, that one account who was just tearing it up, didn't have many listings, but were selling, quite a bit of money's worth of inventory. And they're making probably about $500 to $1,000 a day in sales. And their feedback was horrible. And most of the feedback was, buyer didn't respond, had a problem, didn't respond to my questions. And if these buyers are informed with that information that, hey, you may not be responded to in a timely manner, or if at all, because there's no signal, they want to call it a signal, but it's a banner or a badge that says that you respond fast. I really think that's going to help the sellers who are really serious and take some time to focus on customer questions and stuff. I really think that is going to be a benefit. I know I'm going to get a good badge if that happens, because I'm always, even if I'm out and about, I'm always replying in a very, very quick manner. Biff says, I hope eBay does invoke the response metric. That can only help me. I can get most responses out in near real time if I'm awake. And that's just it. If you're getting a question, when you're driving, let's say you're at the movies, or let's say it's the middle of the night when you're asleep, as soon as you respond, as soon as you can, that's the best practice. No one's expecting you to get up and respond at 2 a.m. And I think it's probably going to be looked at as an overall average anyway. So if you deal within a month 100 questions, and maybe you fell off a couple times and didn't answer those in a timely manner, well, it's all going to average out anyway. Husty's Emporium says, I hope they take into account people messaging you in the middle of the night. And I'm sure they'll give us the guidelines before they launch anything like that. I'm sure they wouldn't.
Don't be so sure.
Well, I'm sure that any reasonable company, okay, well, can't be sure about that, but any reasonable person implementing something like this will at least give us a chance to change your ways if we're not currently on top of our messages. Guide Guru says, I respond immediately every time unless I'm asleep. This would be good for me personally. I just think it's a good thing. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
That F-35 that's still flying around. Actually, I think they said it crashed into a lake or something, but the F-35 is already listed on eBay.
There's an F-35.
There's an F-35 in North Carolina where a pilot ejected. And how do you lose a plane? I mean, in the world
how does the plane still fly?
Well, but it's on autopilot and he ejected, right?
Wow.
And so they're saying, well, they don't see it anywhere, so it must have crashed into one of these lakes. But, you know, they have these websites where you can track the flight tracker, right?
Yeah.
And so wouldn't you be able to see if it's still up or what its last, you know, ping was? I don't know. Tommy says, as a business, we have expected hours of operation, just like shipping cutoffs, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Mercari can do this because they don't recognize businesses. eBay, we register as a business. Many do. eBay still doesn't have me as either a business or a personal account for some reason. Go figure on that one.
Sylvia said it was South Carolina.
Is it South Carolina?
Yeah.
Okay. Somewhere out there. Soda City Flip says, not great ones, Archie. Jennifer B says, hi, everyone. Where's the bulk editing for handling time? So you'd actually have to go into your individual business policies or shipping policies to change your handling time within those individual shipping policies. Now, if you are one that I believe has a personal account and not a business account, or like a hybrid like mine, then you'd actually have to go in and into your business policies, and there should be a place to change that. This is a good question. Anyone out there has a personal account that needs to change their handling time, please give us an answer if you can. Let's see. The Thrifty Loon says, someone come pick me up so I can attend. Oh, the rally. Yeah, I'm going to get a rental, but we're going to be going to yard sales. As soon as we wake up on Saturday morning, we're going to yard sales.
Maybe you can hitch a ride with somebody that's coming up.
Brian Barrett says, hello, FAE family from Dallas, Texas. Awesome.
Texas.
And then Cha-Ching King says, less than half the people have hit the thumbs up. It's easy and free to do.
That's right.
I'm waiving my thumbs up hitting fee for this program. We will not charge you a cent for that.
Let's go.
Yeah. Mad Hatter's Boutique says, are there any reseller shows in SoCal or Las Vegas coming up?
Yes, there's a Boss reseller rally coming up in Las Vegas. Remix, sorry.
That's in October, and I'm not sure. No, I need to. I procrastinate. I'm just bad that way. I haven't bought the bubble wrap.
And he wonders why I have to ask him so many times to do things.
I appreciate it. That's why we keep
No, you don't appreciate it.
That's why we keep
No, you don't. No, you don't. I come in this office and you're like, just let me work.
Okay. Well, Connie Muchow, see, again, she's going to make me look like a crazy lunatic. Connie Muchow says, packages to mail out, but can't get in my store. They said it is an eBay error.
What?
That's
Packages
really strange.
To mail out, but can't. Oh.
Well, then eBay is going to have to do something for you.
Yeah.
Either unwind the deals without counting against you, which I know you don't want to do. You want to keep the sales, or find a way to let you in. You know, that's
crazy.
Horrible. Baubles, Blings, and Needful Things says, I wrote Kevin about a ticket and didn't hear back. Roman said he'd put me in his trunk for a ride. You know, I don't know. I think Roman is kind of serious about that when he says he'll put you in his trunk. Be careful.
Be careful.
Cha-Ching Kings.
KGB? Is it KGB?
I think so. That's a KGB practice, isn't it?
You never know.
I've had exactly one live in my own channel. It's really a lot of work to manage it. They just make it look easy. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, you know, it used to be, and yeah, you saw a lot of eBay coming out of me in this live stream where I was really kind of goofing up, right, a lot. But I don't know. Maybe it's just not my day. Maybe I haven't had enough of my Mio in me before.
No, I was saying you make it look easy.
No, but what I'm saying is this one I didn't, because I'm full of like errors and glitches. I think
you're just trying to, your brain is working faster than your mouth can.
Usually it does, right? Brandy Vasquez says, good sales started mid last week, or probably started mid last week. They continued through yesterday. Today is slow so far. It is slow so far.
It is a slow Monday. But it's not over yet.
See, I'm not the only one that would say that. Biscuit Butt says, Lisa, be careful about Roman. Al, or is it AI? I'm thinking it's Al, says sales are very slow. I average 18 to 25 sales on weekends and only had 6 this weekend. Not many watchers or views either. Super weird weekend, but it's okay because this year has been very strong overall.
Yeah.
So that's good.
It all averages out.
I mean, you'll hear me tell you about bad days and stuff, but I got to tell you, this is probably the best sales year we've had so far. For the year, we are over now $100,000 in sales for the year, with 3.5 months left, and that's supposed to be the best 3.5 months of the year. So let's see how that pans out. Matt Hatter says sales this weekend were great. Sunday was great. All the NFL fans came out to get some new gear on eBay. One bought 4 caps for Christmas family presents. Christmas sales have started.
Yep.
A lot of people getting the jump on that. Husty's Emporium says it's minefield trying to walk it out, and most of the time they're right. It's not you, it's us. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. And let's see, we have Richard. Thanks for being here. Sipnewski, hopefully I got that right. Jenna, the straight here is fire, with a thumbs up.
Well, thank you.
It is fire.
No one design doesn't seem to like it.
Flip It Good says, hi there.
Flip
New to your
it
channel.
good.
Flip it real good. that salt and pepper.
Yeah.
Flip it good. And so thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Thanks for subbing to the channel. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Scream NRC says, been listing Christmas items, selling kind of good at the moment.
Yeah.
And then Sylvia says, yes, I'll continue, but I took some vacation to take the stress from my shoulders a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes you need to take a little break.
I think sometimes if you are dealing with, I've done everything at least in my mind that I think that I can do. I think it's time to just turn everything off. Maybe close your store for a couple weeks, or pull everything and maybe continue to watch some video, get ideas, see what other people are doing. Take time to just think about your next plan of action. I think so many people, they run a business and they're reacting, and they don't have a plan. They're just reacting. So they see, oh, well, these aren't selling, so let me just mark them down 50%. This isn't selling. I've had it in my store for a month. Maybe it's time to, do something drastic. And maybe there's a lot of answers out there, but reacting and making constant changes, I think, is not the recipe. Yeah. I think you really need to sit back and, as if you were a business, how would a business handle slow sales? They probably have a meeting, right? They probably come together and say, what's working well for us and what's not? And they'll start there, right? And keep what's working and totally get rid of the things that aren't, and maybe move your focus into something different. But by taking a couple weeks, you're not making a rash decision, and you're, okay, now it's 2 weeks. I've thought about this. I really think now I should do this with my business, and that time away will maybe give you some time to recharge as well. Because this is a grind. Yeah. Reselling is definitely a grind. Jacqueline B says, no luck in sales this weekend, having good amount of watchers, yet low views or sales. But remember, those watchers can be other sellers, so it doesn't really mean a whole lot. Rob Dvorak says, have you seen the video, The Reselling Game Changer? Understand how eBay's algorithm works and start selling like a pro.
My Polish Pete.
Yeah. Let me just say this. That guy, I'll just say that I don't like to say a whole lot about channels. I did take a moment to watch a lot of his stuff. The moment he started, kind of throwing shade at the Hills, I was like done with
Hills.
It. Yeah, they're Andrea.
Yeah.
Those are good people, just putting out content, and you think that I have a problem with the English language? I'm not just saying it. I'm just saying it.
That guy.
But yeah, let me put it this way: I couldn't follow it, and he put a lot of rude comments in my live, and that kind of silly. You can disagree with me all you want. I don't mind that. I learn a lot from that kind of thing. But if you're coming out telling people, disparaging the person on the live stream or in the video as this person doesn't know what they're talking about when you've helped a lot of people, that's the one. And it's like, that's not a good look for your channel when you're being absolutely rude to people. And it's not the way to proceed. I think you approach it by saying, hey, I got some ideas. Let's try this, because the argument was, about auctions, how I said I came out about a month ago saying I think auctions are dead. Well, in my experience, they are. They never seem to pan out for me. Now, if you have a hidden little thing that you do to work the system to make those things work, then share it, but don't come out and bash somebody to make yourself look better. It's not the way to proceed. And I think I've given this guy 10 minutes too much of my time. So I'm going to move on. Lawrence Trombley says, what is smart pricing on Mercari? What happens when they shut it off? So smart pricing is this. I'm going to set my price to $20 for this item. Okay. So eBay says if you turn, or not eBay, but Mercari says if you turn it on, they'll keep lowering it like I think it's like every day or every week by $1 until you hit that low number. So it's usually like $4 difference. So at like $16, they'll turn it off, and that's where your item price stays. Okay. And it's sort of a way to, we talk about, you can go into your listings and you can lower your price doing a bulk edit. It does that for you. I think it's weekly.
It's after a few days, actually, because I just noticed that all of the things that I listed on Mercari are now at their rock bottom price.
Yeah. Guy Grew says a lot is me, admittedly, but not at all. I have over 1,000 items and some good sell-through rate stuff, but maybe not as good sell-through as it should. I've adjusted what I source and other strategies. And, sourcing higher sell-through stuff, things that show a lot more sold comps is certainly a good start. But I truly believe that a lot of the stuff that you allow to remain in your store that really aren't going to sell, I think those are actually holding you back as well. And maybe get those lotted up, or maybe find a way to move away from those things. Larcy says, I sold out of my stock over the weekend, but I'll still hit the thumbs up. Awesome.
Well, thank you.
Awesome. We'll put a sale on rain check for you. How about that? Yeah. Thomas says, smart pricing races to your lowest price to try to get a sale. Yeah. And it's up to you on where to set that price, but I believe they require you to set it like a certain percentage, like at least 10 to 20% from that start price as your low.
Yep.
Stay home to shop. What's the sell-through rate on your new store compared to your old store? Love your live streams. Well, thank you. Well, I haven't compared lately, so I really can't give you the answer on that. I can tell you my main store is around a 2% sales conversion rate, which is what eBay generally uses, which is down for whatever reason from about 2.6%, which is where I was at midsummer. But my sales haven't fallen off that bad. I think I'm down 8.7% last 31 days. So that's a lot larger drop from 2.6 to 2%. So the other store is probably somewhere around 1%, if that. It's not very good.
That one doesn't sell much at all.
No, and that's because we have a lot of stuff that's holding us back. Now, you might ask, well, why do you continue to have a second store that just underperforms? Well, I like to think that, number one, that's our clearance aisle. I don't care how my sales are in that store. If they happen, they happen. Jenna's putting new stuff in there all the time, and those items tend to sell as well. But it gives me a place to go to try little experiments. So I can try things and see how they affect my account or my sales without, if they hurt my sales in that account because I did something stupid, then it's not the end of the world. But if I go into my main account and start testing things and tweaking things when things are fine, then I might find myself now I somehow screwed up my account, and I'm going to wish that I didn't do a lot of those things. So that's kind of why we have it. Pot G Grimm says, I'm trying to understand what to select for international shipping package details. For example, a t-shirt I'm not sure of, the 6 options, what to choose. Any tips? Now, I'm not quite understanding. Are you talking about if you're just doing it yourself? In my opinion, I utilize if it's under £1, I'll utilize the USPS first class international shipping rates. And if it's over £1, then I'll utilize the international standard shipping rates that would be sort of the equivalent of a priority mail type thing. And I'll usually run those labels through pirate ship. So you get the best rate, get a little bit better rate than through eBay. But if you're talking about eBay's international shipping program, I'm not aware of the different options. I didn't know there was an option. You simply send it to them, and eBay takes care of the difference. But if anyone has an answer to that question, please post that in the chat. Yasmin Williams says, do you research every so often on what's selling in case you run into items, or just at the spot?
On the spot.
On the spot. On the spot.
On the spot.
And it usually turns into, them wondering, what you're looking up. They'll give you a look at the yard sale, that type of thing. I came out pretty much said that, I'm a reseller and have a channel. And they said, oh, I recognize you, which is kind of cool, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't like it. I don't like when people recognize us, especially when we're sourcing.
Yeah. But I think they in my experience, they kind of tend to either come down to earth, or they realize that you're going to try to get a better deal, and they may want to work with you if you buy a lot. That's kind of what she did. She had some decent prices.
Yeah, they were going in the house to go get more stuff.
Yeah, they even said, hey, do you want some of these boxes? So they brought us three
boxes.
Yeah, 3 big boxes of eBay boxes, different sizes. So I mean, that saved us like $50 right there, right? So it all worked
nice
out.
People, really nice
very good people. I think sometimes, if you're dealing with a reseller and you're a reseller, they kind of understand, right? Mm-hmm. And I was trying to understand, why is it that she's selling these at a yard sale? Because if these things were in her store and not being sold, then all I'm going to do is do the same thing, get these things listed, and this stuff's going to sit. But from what I gathered, she would rather, she was more into knitting than it was the reselling thing. So this stuff was probably her death pile, at least most of it. And maybe some of it wasn't.
It's good stuff. So I don't know. I mean, had she listed it, I think it would have sold. Maybe something, like that blanket that I got, that may sit for a month or so, or maybe even more. But eventually, I think those things are sellers.
Now, if I'm being candid with you right here and now.
Oh, no. On camera?
I will do it on camera, because we are real like that. Right?
We are real like that. Tight.
We are real like that. We had bought that stuff for $400, right? And then she was selling you on this. What is the brand on that?
I don't know.
Because she was asking me, well, what's a popular brand for these? What is it? It was some kind of a blanket. That blanket that she had you buy.
Yes.
Okay, and she said, oh yeah, this thing sells for like $50.
It does. She showed it to me.
Well, she may have showed it to you, but what did you buy it for?
$8.
I wouldn't have paid that.
It's worth it.
I'm sure it's worth it, but from a reselling standpoint, you're probably going to have to go in and promote that. I didn't say nothing to you at the time. I let you do what you were going to do. I added, we added a Canon camera bag.
Dwayne Adams.
Oops. You got to know that on these lives.
Nobody knows.
Because football's on and my football buddy wants to talk football. But, we bought a Canon camera bag for $1. So I just said, add this in, and it was $9. But yeah, I didn't want to say that.
So are you just trying to critique
I'm just saying. I'm saying if she would have said $8, I tell you what, we bought all this stuff.
I'm not a negotiator.
Tell you what,
could have.
We bought all this stuff, and no, because you already said okay.
She said $8, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, right. I didn't get a chance.
I mean,
it was like boom. Like
had
okay.
She said $20, I would have been like, eh.
Yeah.
And
how do you make money that?
I would have said no.
How do you make money buying something? Let's just say hypothetically, $20 to flip it for $50 plus shipping.
No, I would never have done that.
Right.
That's what I'm telling you.
So what separates 8 from 20? Only $12. So you still have, in my opinion, gone no more. And then Archie wants to call.
No, now Archie's doing it on purpose. Yeah,
now Archie's like being a fool. So that's fine because he never answers my calls. So I'm putting him on timeout. I'm putting him on timeout for a week. I'm not answering his phone. He says he wants to hear his name.
Oh, God.
Because he doesn't have enough people that call him by Archie, I guess. It's all biscuit butt. Duncan VR says, good sales today, but it doesn't seem as busy as it should be. I wish I was in the good sales category for today. It's just, I'm not going to panic. It's just one of those things. I had a great day yesterday in sales, so I can't complain.
He was trying to save you.
Well, save me not.
From the couch.
There's been no couch. There's never been a couch, and there never will be a couch. Noah Design Salami Sandwich says, Archie, if he does, I'll super sticker it. I don't know what he means by that.
Because you read ones that are.
I know. I'm trying not to. Tommy Bernard says you have to put in package details or it can't charge the buyer the correct amount unless you select flat rate and do your own.
Yes, I always answer.
Boy,
that's a lie.
That is a lie. It goes to his voicemail, and then he may call you back.
Especially lately.
Yes, he may call you back.
It's like there's a woman around taking up his time.
It could be. It could be because the last one he didn't tell me about until a few weeks into the relationship.
Yeah, until it was almost over.
Yeah, I don't want to put Archie's stuff out there like that, but I guess I did. K Gray 7
that's what he gets for trying to call during live.
Recently started selling on FBM and Poshmark, set up eBay, but haven't listed yet. It doesn't seem as user-friendly as Posh and Facebook. I just need to take the leap. Yeah, eBay has a little bit more involved. I mean, shipping is going to be your number one enemy on eBay, and they make it so easy on, well, I don't know about Facebook Marketplace because I think I've sold one thing a long time ago on Facebook Marketplace online, with their shipping. But Poshmark, boom, the label's paid for. You just print it out. We have Landshark Picker says, good evening. Thank you for being here. And Backyard Mowing says, Tommy. Well, thanks for being here for Tommy. CJ says, you know what they say, you can never be too rich, too pretty, or have enough bubble wrap. Well, you can never. We're going to have a lot of bubble wrap. I'm going to order a lot just for you. Because you always want to remind me we need more bubble wrap. So I think I'm going to order a little extra this time. Tommy Bernard says, eBay is the hardest of all, especially figuring out shipping when new. You'll lose money probably a few times. Just keep pushing. The payoff is night and day over all the others. I agree with that. But I think the biggest tip I can give to a new seller is put in either a flat rate, probably just calculate it, to be honest with you. Make sure you have the box or the bag or whatever you have, and you know what you're going to ship it in. So you know the dimensions and you know the weight. So you could put that in your listing and do a calculated thing where they're paying you exactly what you're paying. Because a lot of new sellers lose money because of shipping. Amazon seller says, I prefer Uline tape and bubble wrap. It's not the cheapest, but it's pretty good quality, and they will discount if you buy enough from them. Right. But this stuff is so good at American Bubble Boy.
But American Bubble Boy can't be beat.
It's sold out.
The
a lot
quality
of it's sold
is
out.
just.
Now, I don't know if it's sold out now, but when I went on.
I hope it's not sold out.
When I went on to place an order and I bought the 3-inch tape.
Because then you'll be sleeping on the couch.
No, there's no couch.
There,
I promise
there is a couch.
We will have a live stream when this happens, and there will be no couch involved.
I will throw a blanket at you and maybe a pillow, and
nor has it. And we've had some disagreements in the past. There has never been a couch. Just the way
because he refuses. But I sure as hell will go on the couch.
Well, see, that's different. So that's your choice, right? That's kind of sending yourself to the couch. It has nothing to do with me.
No. It's
Reseller Tom
I don't
says,
want any part of you.
Reseller Tom says, howdy from Hollywood. Thanks for being here.
Hollywood, California, Hollywood, Florida, Hollywood. Where are you from, Reseller Tom?
Amazon Seller 99 says, posting business address is a security risk if you sell high-end items like jewelry, watches, etc. Yeah. That's why you must, in my opinion, if you're a seller selling over $20,000 in sales in a year, which isn't a whole lot, go in and request an exception and have that removed. But at the end of the day, if they're buying from you anyway, that address is going to appear on your return label or your return address on the mailing label.
American Bubble Boy. Love It Collectibles. American Bubble Boy.
And there's a link down below if you want to check it out. I believe you get a little bit off. I believe you get like 5 or 10% off.
Link,
there is a link. I'm on top of it. Noah Design says John is officially an old timey now.
Yeah.
Husty's Emporium says, could it be with the live show format that people are changing the way how they are shopping? The live show format.
Oh, the live show being that like Poshmark has live shows.
Talking about Whatnot?
Whatnot. I don't like it, to be honest. I went on Poshmark today just to get a idea of what, I know it's been around for a little while now, but I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
People want deals. Bottom line,
Yeah.
People want a good deal, especially when times aren't as good as they normally are with the economy. People want deals. And if that means they're going to have to go on to these live events or whatnot to get a good deal, that's what they're going to do. And people are like, okay, I'll try it out, right? Something new. It works. They have a good experience. They go back to it. So I think there's something to it. But at the end of the day, I think eBay is still the top dog. Not talking about Amazon. We're talking about a reseller. You can resell on Amazon too, but of the more popular ones that aren't as restrictive, I put eBay still at the top of that list until it gets dethroned. Let's see. Amazon says if eBay had a live show with chat, they would get wrecked. It would be all haters in the chat.
Oh my God. Can you imagine?
But it's not,
my God.
I don't know about that, because if you ever go to a reseller check-in or seller check-in, I used to go watch on a monthly basis, but it's not really, to me, worth my time. But there's a lot of like eBay fans and like rah, thank you so much for everything. Yeah. You rarely hear about a lot of the problems. And I guess there's nothing wrong with, being appreciative of eBay and being happy about the platform, because it's what pays my bills. But to ignore the fact that there's a lot of problems when you're dealing with eBay finally one-on-one, and you never mention the things that's holding you back, like these problems, it's a waste of an opportunity as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. Let's see if I can get to some new folks here. Gravity Goods. Cameron says, glad you're breathing. I'm glad we're all breathing.
Glad Lisa's breathing.
Well, I'm glad she's breathing too, but I don't want to see anyone suffer. Let's all breathe. Salami says,
wait, where's Todd?
I hope he's
okay.
I think I saw him on Josh's live, if I'm not mistaken. But I hope he's okay. Larry Todd, if you're out there, let us know you're okay. Noah Design says, Jenna, was it the pasta that Jake forgot with the meatballs?
Don't bring up the meatballs. God.
We haven't had. We're probably never going to actually cook meatballs ever again because of that experience. Just not something we're doing. Jenny Carlo says, need to be better on my accounting side of things. Any advice on that? Well, a spreadsheet, if you can, to keep it simple. Now, there's programs out there that you can go, like My Reseller Genie, for instance, sites like that. Now, they don't sponsor the program, but that's one site you can go on to where they pull your data from your account, that type of thing. And that does help a lot of people. But I just pretty much go in and make a simple spreadsheet, maybe what you bought, how much you bought it for, and the date, and keep track as you're sourcing, that type of thing. But you really don't even need to go into all that. For most accounting purposes, you just need to keep track of your overall cost of goods and that type of thing. So if you spent like $400 today, maybe you'll jot that down in a ledger or your Microsoft Excel.
John's good at spreadsheets, so that's what he does.
Yeah. Tommy Bernard says eBay doesn't have anyone qualified to answer questions on the company's behalf. They never have. They can only give blanket statements and best practices. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. But like they try to do at the seller check-in, okay, thank you for the question. I'm going to write it down. Tune in next week. I'll hopefully have an answer for you from someone in the back room who has an answer to that question. Someone's got to have an answer to that question. Now, whether or not they want us to know, they consider it proprietary information, that's another story altogether. And maybe that's why they don't do it. Maybe they would be asked so many questions on an eBay live stream from eBay that they don't want to answer, that it just wouldn't be a very productive live stream, them saying, well, I can't give you that answer. I don't know. Husty's Emporium says customer service is going to be key going forward. It's all part of the trust and safety eBay wants. There's still a lot of crap sellers on the platform, and they're losing buyers first. And that's right. It's about improving the buyer experience, right? So holding sellers accountable to how fast they reply to buyers, I think, is something that is going to go a long way, because don't know about you, but when I'm buying something on the platform, I don't want to deal with a deadbeat seller. There's too many deadbeat sellers that if there's a problem, they won't even see your message, right? Forces you to open a return. But maybe you have a question. Maybe the information in the listing is questionable. And what that's going to do, if someone can't get a hold of you to get an answer, they're going to move on to someone else where they can get that answer. So I just think it's good for sellers, serious sellers overall. The sellers that aren't serious, well, they're the ones that are going to suffer, I think. Christine Moses says, FlightAware does not show any military vessels, but it does still show the failed Google Loon project balloons. So anyone ever see the channel called Monkey Works?
Monkey Works.
He does
WERX.
He does a little channel and he goes over all the flights for a particular day throughout the world, and
it does show military
yeah,
flights.
he tracks the military flights and stuff.
He's on YouTube.
He is on YouTube, yes. Wrestling Fig says, I'm following Amazon truck and taking packages off porches to sell on eBay. Wow. Until you get like that, some Depends in that box, then you'll probably stop doing it.
Or some glitter that explodes.
Yeah. Nick Picker says, if you don't use business policy, you just go to active listings, select the listing you want to edit, and then click edit handling time. There you go. Thanks for helping with that. Amazon Seller 99 says, true, Tommy. It's sad eBay has no one qualified. Amazon does have its captive agents. If you can get one on the phone, they're pretty good in solving problems and answering questions. And I haven't had a whole lot of experiences with Amazon because very few items of mine do go up on Amazon, so it's just not a priority to deal with those people. It's just a lot more difficult platform to manage for most people. No Design says, no, John's English is glitching. It depended on eBay glitches. Husty's Emporium says, so they want us to be uninformed with the very best customer service when they give us the most unpredictable set of uneducated people at home with barking dogs and crying babies in the background.
And chickens.
Don't forget the rooster.
Don't forget the rooster.
Because one time a rooster went off. I said, what was that? And the guy's like, oh, it was nothing. I'm like, that was a rooster. Yeah, it was. I'm like, wow. Yeah. Tommy Bernard says, eBay is so compartmentalized. That's the problem. The departments do not communicate with each other. It's run like the government, talking points and general blanket statements.
Yeah,
I agree. But why would they put the Manila, Philippines call center as the specialty department? So over the dispute department, over the shipping department, departments that should be specialized with specialized people are being given to what I consider frontline agents. And I think that's part of the problem. Guy Guru says, I broke 100K in 2001, but I had a really good source then. Here? Because they wanted to.
Why do you have to be an
asshole? They just want to be, they don't call them that.
He's an asshole.
Husty's Emporium says, the day-to-day stuff takes over and it's hard to just take a step back to reset and go again. Yes, I agree with that. Liz Shirley says, search glitch, additional info. Search problem was on computer only. Search on the app worked just fine. But if you guys saw the short that I put out on Saturday, I was using the iPhone app and it would not show me results for anything for a solid 2-hour period. And I tried getting out of the app, reloading it, and turning my phone off. I tried taking my Wi-Fi off, which is great Wi-Fi, and 4 bars out of 5, 5G, and neither of them worked for me. John Gaynor says, hi, Jen and John. eBay has come a long way over the last 20 years, but I would like to see more ads for the little eBay sellers. To get more buyers on eBay, you need to start with the little buyer. I remember, and I agree with that, I remember back in 2019, my first full-time year. It was 2018 before I went. I was still part-time then, but there was a complaint by a lot of people complaining how eBay came out with some advertising saying something to the effect of, well, you can't find it anywhere else, check with eBay, right? And I would take that now. You know, it's certainly people are looking online more and more than ever to find their items that they need or want. And at least put eBay in the spotlight that we've got that stuff here. I would love to see eBay return to that advertising campaign. It beats what they're doing now. Let me just put it that way. Let's see. We've got Marvelous Cards. It says, I use the international shipping program for eBay, and eBay takes care of everything. I just ship using the cheapest method to the address eBay gives, and then eBay handles all the rest. Yep. I like it. I have not gone back to it because I think the concept is good, but I still don't want to find out if it's broken. I'll let someone else find out if it's broken. When I was using it, my sales died. And that was for a 3 or 4 day period. I turned it back on, and within hours, I turned it off. And within hours, my sales normalized. And I'm like, okay, my items are large anyway. No one's going to want to pay what eBay wants to ship a 20-pound box for the most part. And it's just not worth it for me right now with the type of items I'm selling. Guide Guru says, I don't see gold losing out at an auction. Have things really gotten that bad for auctions? Used to be the way to go for selling gold. I mean, I don't think that anything that has real monetary value, like poker chips, people can cash those in if they want to get the value that's on the chip, provided that the casino is still, or casino chips, provided the casino is still around. Operation. They can turn it in or not out of print. Certain things that have value, like gold or silver, are always going to maintain the value. And for the most part, people are going to be on top of those listings, and those will sell what they should sell for. But if we're talking about things that most people have in their stores, like an 8-track tape, some random 8-track tape, or some media or random stuff, those don't do as well, if at all. You can try it on your own store, put it for 99 cents, and see how it does. I'm willing to bet your random stuff that's been sitting in your store will take care of itself with a good price and a fixed listing, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I think maybe gold might.
Gold is going to go for around what gold goes for. I mean, gold is always changing. Those metals are always changing. You may not get above what it's worth, but you're not going to get a whole lot lower than what it's worth. So if you listed something that's gold and has gold weighting to it, where someone can just melt it down, there's going to be people, I promise you, that will buy that for more than 99 cents. It'll get bid up to a certain level. Bobble says, yeah, Tommy, eBay UK actually seems to care about their sellers. Always has been that way from what other over-the-pond friends have said. The U.S. scares them. I don't know what it is. If I could do it, and I think I could do it because I have 26 years of experience dealing with call centers, I could easily revamp the eBay call center and redesign where these calls should be going and who should be fielding these calls, and it would be night and day better than what it is right now. But I'm just some guy selling on eBay. So Husty's Emporium says, no, it used to be ka-ching, 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 ching on a Sunday evening. All the good of days. Good old days. Yep. And then Thomas, at least if a store is built around auctions, they get a following of that type of buyer. I know a couple people that sell things that I used to compete with. They get top dollar for everything, huge money. And again, it's all about demand as far as I'm concerned. Now, the Thrifty Loon is concerned. John's going to be in the doghouse. No, John's not in the doghouse. Generally not. She gets mad at me, but generally I don't get into a doghouse. Mike Gertis.
You'll get the silent treatment.
Oh, yeah, but that's relaxation. That's my relaxing.
Wow.
Mike says, is this a new feature? I saw my listing showing fast and free after the 5th one down. I'm not promoting it. I don't know. A lot of times, if you're not promoting, you'll still be shown in search as an organic listing. That's why there's times where you can be promoting and not pay a promoted fee when it sells because it was shown organically to the buyer. Marvelous Card says, so just popped on and was wondering if anyone else noticed eBay login issues on certain browsers. I had the slowest sales last weekend, but now things seem to be fixed, making normal sales again. Dealing with, I guess, the game of find the castle and not the stadium, or show me the motorcycle and the crosswalk. It makes you play that every so often for some reason, but I haven't seen that recently. So
I had to do it on the laptop this morning.
Yeah.
Or yesterday.
Okay.
No, not this morning. Last night when I was doing shipping.
Yeah.
Wanted me to pick out a mouse.
Interesting. Tiffany Buttrey says, I have not had a sale on eBay in over 2 weeks or more. I'm not sure what to do with eBay. The advice I have for anyone who's still not making sales, go in, look at the stuff that you think in your store should have sold by now. and go and pull it up and search. Has it sold? If it has multiple times, not just once, over the last 90 days, look to see how their listing is different than yours. Now, you're never going to know how much they promoted as compared to you. There's so many hidden factors you're not going to be able to see, but there's a chance you're going to pick up on, oh, they had 5 pictures to my 1, or they had better, clearer pictures than mine. Oh, their title was better. Let me use that title, right? It's looking at what succeeds and taking what you think is better than yours and applying it to yours. And that's the first place to start, I think. Love It Collectible says, what is the name of the bubble wrap vendor you prefer?
We
That's
answered.
okay. American Bubble Boy.
And they said thank you.
No Design says, this live feels like an episode of The Real Housewife of Las Vegas. James Chapman says, wish I was getting more sales like all of you, 1 or 2 every couple days. Got to source more items, I guess. Trying to learn from all you influencers. It is getting better, I think. Yeah, it gets better over time. You just learn. Take bits and pieces of what makes sense. If
For
someone,
you and your situation.
right, if someone jumps on here and, like for me, someone jumps on here and says, you got to list 100 today to be successful.
No.
I'm going to look at my inventory and go, well, I'm going to need a crew of people to get this stuff up because I can't just list 100. I deal with stuff that I have to, big boxes, stuff I got to take out. I've got to inspect. I've got to clean. I've got to put together, test out, take it apart to put back in the box after I've taken my photos, and then weigh everything. It's just a process, right? Yeah. And I'm not going to ever list.
Those days are pretty much over.
Yeah, building the big store for the sake of building the big store, because even a year and a half ago, I was thinking, well, I guess you could play the numbers game, build a huge store, and even with the low sell-through rate at 1 in 400, if you have 10,000 listings, you're going to make some money, right? But eBay's kind of caught on to that, and they're really they want to make sales, right? They want you to list items that are going to generate revenue for them. So I think they're realizing that they're running out of things that they can do to the seller on our regular sales to get more money out of us. So now let's promote the items that have a higher sell-through rate and get people to start listing that kind of item. And that in general would, in theory, will get more sales overall for the platform that they can get fees off of. I think that makes sense. But at the end of the day, you need to start advertising, get some of this younger generation onto eBay, either as buyers or sellers, hopefully buyers, and get more sales, grow your buyer pool and not allow it to shrink. I think that should be eBay's main focus, is how do we build up this buyer platform? And I think when you have things going on the site that prevents a buyer from buying something, do you think they're going to come back? So don't be surprised.
They are advertising all over TikTok, though. It's annoying, actually.
Okay, so they advertise on TikTok. They finally get the person to buy it the first time on eBay, and they get a spinning wheel. They can't find what they're looking for, or they find what they're looking for. They go to checkout, and it says, it's not you, it's us. So you've spent all this advertising revenue, and you brought the new person to the site just to say, I'll never do business with them again because it was horrible. Yeah. Remember, first impressions, I think, are the most important. So before eBay goes to advertising to all these new people, I think it's a good thing to do, but fix the problems first so you can set a good first impression to your new buyers. I think it's reasonable. Tommy says he cannot wait to sit around for an item to be auctioned on live shows. And I don't.
That's not what Tommy said.
Well, I know that's what he said. I can't sit and wait for an item to be auctioned off on live shows. That's what he said.
I can't even imagine Tommy sitting and Tommy is too. He's like you.
I know. Tommy says, can you imagine eBay live chat? The questions. How do you find eBay's website? YouTubers already got the phone lines ripped up. Yeah, that's true. Becky says, Ground Advantage weights up to 70 pounds, save money for everyone. Yes, I do like Ground Advantage. There's a Ground Advantage calculated that I use on some of the listings where just maybe putting in a box would just not be practical, like that Guitar Hero guitar for the PS2. Well, it's in its own box. It's in the retail box. It doesn't have the game. I think we sold it for 40 something plus shipping, but That was calculated ground advantage, where we just bubble wrap the heck out of the box and put it in a poly, called it a day, right? And that's how we shipped it. Simple Beautiful says, hey, Jay and Jay, how much do you list per week on average? I literally list 5 to 10 items a day. That's it. And on days I know I'm not going to be around, I will then make a queue of listings that I can launch. Like this weekend, I'm going to create extra listings so I can launch while we're gone. So I'm giving eBay that constant attention that it wants.
It likes to be.
It loves to be
fluffed up.
Who doesn't like to be, recognized on a daily basis? eBay is no different. Dan Cruz says, I love eBay. It's not perfect, but I still enjoy the platform. I mean, it's not like I dread working with eBay. Okay. It actually makes me laugh.
We just wish eBay didn't dread working with us.
Yeah. It just broken. It's just working with, imagine something you have in your garage, a tool that's broken. Well, you can go and buy a new one, which is like super expensive, or you can just work with the broken thing and, just know that it's broken. Or
you're driving a car and your car's making some really clunky noise on a constant basis, driving down the road.
Okay, we have Falsehood Finder. So we're going to have the truth right now. John, I left a comment this weekend on another channel that started a forest fire. It pertained to eBay calling creators and NDAs. Just know it was not directed at you. No, I know. I came out with that subject material on the live because I thought it was an interesting topic. My only concern with signing an NDA, if you're a YouTuber or a content creator and you sign an NDA and that NDA says you cannot disparage eBay in any way, shape, or form, well, you are no longer going to be able to give a truthful and honest assessment of your experience because you may violate the NDA. Okay, so it's only going to be happy eBay talk, which is what eBay wants. But the viewer who wants to know, is this going to work for me, or if it's not, is not going to get a true representation of whatever that situation is, and they're going to be misled. So I think for that reason, and they put a lot of legal speak in these things that you have to sign, you're going to have a lawyer review these things before you sign it. I just don't think signing an NDA is in any YouTuber's best interest for any reason. And that's just to get, and what are you going to do? You're going to be the only one privy to that information. So, okay, I guess you're helping yourself out, but how are you helping your viewers? So I had initially said, look, eBay, if you want to reach out to me, be glad to sign an NDA to try to help you work out these problems and give you a lot of the feedback that I'm getting in the comments that you guys leave. But if it boils down to that, I'm not interested. I'm just not.
I ain't signing no NDA.
No, I'm just not.
My mouth will get me in trouble.
I want to help eBay. I want to. This is where we make our money. But I don't want to be at their whim. I don't want to worry, did I say something that offended eBay in this video? I don't want to do that. Husty's Emporium says, I think whatever was wrong for so long is slowly starting to be fixed slightly. The thing is always after it being fixed again, it'll break again, and that's not a good luck. It's not. And hopefully they have worked a lot of these kinks out. They spent the entire summer aggravating us so that we have a very smooth Q4. That's my hope. Jovial Juggler says, bought something on eBay 9/2, had to message seller to ask them to ship on 9/9. Said it would be shipped priority, shipped UPS ground, received the item 9/15. Such a shame. Yeah, that's no good. And then Shalami, John, to answer that question, titles is a feel-good position. Who would want a title called Department of Special Regional Customer Call Specialist of Manila?
Not me.
You know what? If it fixed the problem, I would take it. That's one time I'd sign an NDA. If I could fix eBay, I would do it. Love It Collectibles. Wow. How would you be turning international shipping off, increase your sales? What do you think was happening there? I think there is a problem with them implementing opting everyone in, and it just caused a lot of people, not everyone, a good amount of people had reported as soon as they were opted in, their sales just died. And once they opted out, their sales turned back on. It's just like any of the other glitches that we can't explain on eBay. Let's see if I can get to some more recent comments here. It said, John is treading in dangerous waters.
He is.
She forgets who the chef is around here.
I can make my own damn food, okay?
You can.
I can order really well.
Okay. Another question. What is your approach when choosing auction versus buy it now?
We don't choose auction.
We did auctions last summer for those military badges that I had no knowledge of, could not find comps on. And if you can't find comps on an item, there's a chance someone might be looking for it, and you have a rare item, then, well, you need really more than one person though. Otherwise, whatever you started off at, let's say, I think those badges, I was starting off at $7.99 with no buy it now, because I didn't know what to set the buy it now at. And there's a few that sold for over $100. And had I just listed it randomly as a fixed price for $20, that's all I would have got for it. So that would be the only time that I ever use auction, is if I don't know what the true market is for that item or have any idea. And Tommy says, auctions are always last option unless it's extreme beyond rare and no way to find value. I agree with that. James Chapman says, I list about 20 per day at the Tommy Bernard podcast. Oh, okay. He's saying that to Tommy. I just went and changed to one-day shipping and adjusted prices on over 200 items yesterday. Made one sale within a couple hours of doing that. I mean, you know, that's good. I mean, you made some changes.
Oh, he had one of his, what do they call them? Their workers?
Oh, one of the crackheads?
Crackheads.
Yeah. That's what Shalami calls his employees. Love it. Collectibles. Regarding listing, is there a certain number of products that should be listed daily to boost traffic? Algorithm in your favor? If so, is 1 to 2 a day the same effect on the algorithm? People once said, and I think this is on one of the bigger channels, this is a couple years ago, you know, list at least 5. I mean, I list 5 because it's just 5 to 10 is what I list. It really depends on the time I have. So I'm not out to say, okay, I'm going to list 5. I'm going to say I've got 4 hours this window to list before I have to do something else within the business. So I'll work on that. And sometimes, many times, I'll be distracted. Things will come up. I have to put my attention on those things.
You heard the phone calls.
Get the phone calls.
Especially during football season.
Football season, yeah. Much money to be made during football season on the side. So that does have some importance.
TJ Maxx.
Amazon seller says, even if your speech doesn't violate the NDA, they can still sue you claiming it does. Who here has an extra $100K to defend a bogus lawsuit? It makes it much easier to go after people.
Right.
Right.
Which is why I will never.
I'm not interested. I'm really not. I've
interested.
Signed similar things, like when we left the company, we left, as part of leaving with the severance package, you have to sign certain agreements like that. And, I normally, if I had no choice, well, I had no choice, but if I had a choice, I wouldn't have signed it. Let me just put it that way. They found
the debris of the F-35.
Did Roman have it?
Roman had it.
Roman was going to part that thing out, wasn't he?
He was putting it up on eBay.
Yep, I knew it. No one designs as Roman. That sounds like a pyramid scheme. What is he talking about? Okay, Anytime Picker says, Roman says, you sign NDA with my imports and they get pregnant, you're not responsible. Wow, that's just horrible. And I hope you're not transporting them in the trunk like you were talking about earlier. Devon says NDA is just to cover eBay's. Yeah, it is, because they have very important proprietary things that they may say, and they do not want you sharing that. And I understand, because they're a business. They don't want Mercari to know, oh, wow, I didn't know eBay did it that way. And they just confirmed it. And so therefore we're going to copy that, right? So that's why. I understand it's certainly something that all businesses do. But at the same time, if you're telling us something that's not really proprietary, that, maybe this, what you're doing isn't working, or what you're telling people is, maybe we listen to your podcasts or your lives, and maybe you said this and it's incorrect. How is correcting that and saying, okay, I told you a couple weeks ago, this is, that this was happening, and really, according to eBay, it's not. How is that sharing proprietary information? So for me, my only hope with with Josh and Kevin talking to eBay was to find out basic, very vague answers to these questions. And that is, are you guys, what's causing these glitches? Is it because you're working in the back end? Don't tell us what you're doing. Just tell us that you're trying to fix things so you're not working on it in Q4. I will forgive you for that because that's what we want, right? We don't want Q4 to be like the summer. You know, are things that we're doing, are we on the right track? Are we safe in assuming that you're more focused on sell-through rate than you are growing a big store? Is that the way eBay is going? If you just acknowledge that, don't give us detail, then we can at least have an idea of how to proceed with our own businesses. And that's all I want out of these conversations. I don't want the, you know, the Colonel Sanders original recipe. I don't want that. Okay.
Yes, you do.
I do. But I don't want it from eBay. Okay. So just, that's all I want out of these things. And is it really worth signing an NDA to get vague information? I don't think so. Let's see. James says, I want to start an eBay store, but sales have to get better to do that. So glad I didn't with these slow sales lately. Yeah, you know, give it some time. But I would say if you have at least 100 items, it's probably worth the time and the effort to get a store. And you're going to save on your insertions anyway. You get a lot of free insertions. And you get, it's just better. I think that eBay, and this is just a guess on my part, so don't hold me to it, but if you have a store, I really think that that's part of your account health. I think it helps. That's just my guess, is my hunch. And of course, until I sign an NDA and eBay tells me otherwise, I'm going to continue to believe that. That's all I see here.
Roman thinks brows are about
The brows?
the brows are going to destroy the Steelers.
But that's actually how he would say that.
Uh-huh.
He would say the bad brows. I love the way he says the word bad. I hope he says it on his next live. In fact, I was going to ask him. I'm going to ask him when I see him at the rally here. I'm going to ask him to recite Teddy KGB's lines from Rounders, just so I can hear it.
He's going to record him so he can put it as a ringtone.
Yeah. Pay that man his money. I want to hear him say that. Will Horton says, hi, when are you doing more unboxing videos to sell on eBay? Mm-hmm. Probably not anytime soon, because it involves liquidation pallets. And with liquidation pallets, I'm not really looking at them lately. And you can watch like Lindy Glenn's video. She's come out with a lot of new videos explaining some of the problems she's had with her brick and mortar bin store. And the quality of pallets have definitely gone downhill. So if you hear me saying it, that might not mean a lot, because I've only bought like 50 pallets in the last 3 years. But someone like her dealing with truckloads and saying it, well, and if you ever watched Liquidation Motivation,
I was going to say,
he's become middle-aged male now.
Yeah.
He changed this channel to middle-aged male to tell you about all the male problems, because he's kind of done talking about liquidation because it's that bad. So unboxing videos is probably not going to be something anytime soon, unfortunately. But I want to wrap it up there, guys. We're a good solid hour and 50 minutes in. And let's just hope, let's build off of the positive that many people are starting to get better sales, this weekend being a sort of an indicator of that. Of course, that falls into line with history. I've been telling you guys this, that there is such a thing as a summer slowdown. It usually is between June and August. Here we are, the first few weeks of September. Maybe getting out of that summer slowdown was a little bit more difficult, but we're now showing signs that we're getting out of it. For many, like myself, I wasn't really affected by it this year. But many of you were, and the slowdown with the bad economy, a lot of people want to be in denial about that, but it's a thing. High inflation rates, higher people paying higher rent, higher prices on their interest rates. It has an effect on people, and that coupled with just the problems that we're seeing on the site during the summer, it's going to cause problems. But maybe we're past that, and hopefully all those signs of how flipping ain't easy are going to be behind us. So I want you guys to have an excellent start to your week. Get those things listed right now. Q3, get ready for Q4, and let's report good sales. We'll be here on Thursday,
3 p.m. Pacific time,
6 Eastern, and we'll have the great Josh Galt with us. So be with us there.
Wait.
It'll be a very, very good spirited conversation. So,
and I got to go order my dinner since my husband isn't going to cook for me tonight.
Yeah, it's ramen time tonight, honey.
No,
You're on the couch.
I don't eat ramen unless I'm sick.
All right, well, take care, everyone. Have a good one.